Hi again. All right, so here's my attempt at a private lesson on clarinet without being together. I'm not very good at this virtual thing. Hopefully it'll help you a little bit. So I'm going to assume that you can play the beginning through measure 10 without any help, right? It's pretty easy. I'm sure you can do it. Measure 10 actually is not that hard. Now you know how to count triplets. So obviously the problem is that it's fast and it has some strange fingerings. So my advice is to start super slow and go really slowly till your fingers learn it and then move on. So you know I'm not a very great clarinet player, so excuse some of that. I almost did it on saxophone so it would sound better, but I wanted to practice a little bit. So here's my attempt going super slow at measure 10. Okay, so that's way too slow to play in the thing, but that's how you learn it, right? Make sure that the D flat is the same as C sharp, so it's this fingering, right? Here's your D, here's normal C, C sharp is this pinky guy here. You probably know that one already. So then just speed it up. Make sure you go triplet, one. I would start a metronome and then just continue up. Make sure you count the rest beforehand because that'll help. So 1, 2. That's not bad, right? The next measures you can do. Now we get to measure 18. And here's those weird triplet things that I tried to explain on the whiteboard. Hopefully that made sense. And it's lucky because it's low and easy to play, right? So 18 to 22. Okay. From C to E flat is just kind of weird fingering, and my clarinet is needing to be repatted there, so it doesn't really speak very well, but you'll get it. So you can replay that section a couple times if you're trying to figure out how those go. Obvious, it might be still kind of slow, but start slow and then speed it up to tempo as you get more comfortable. 22 and 23 are kind of challenging because you have some weird notes in there and then interesting fingering. So let's look at those two measures separately. Measure 22 has the A flat. It's marked the first time, but remember it carries all the way through the bar. So you have F, G, A flat, F, A flat again, then C, and then F, high F, right? So both A's in that measure are A flat. And that's just kind of a tricky fingering, start slow, speed up, just like everything else. In measure 23, this is really important. You cannot go from C to this E flat because it'll sound really bad. So you have to use this C over here. You probably don't use that one very much. Okay, so it's finger like you're going to do D, and then do this one right there, and that's C. I'll prove it to you. I'm going to do both fingerings. Here's a normal one. Okay, so you can hear that it's the same pitch. And then if you go that C, then you can do that E flat really easily, or at least fairly easily. And you won't get any weird notes in between. But because that's probably a new fingering, you're going to have to really get that done to do it. You know, start slow so that you can go learn that fingering pattern. So you might have to do that measure several times. I would go like this. Sorry, let me start it over. And that's where my clarinet's broken, so I can't fix it. Not a very good example, but hopefully you got it from that. In the next part where you have rest, triplet, you can use the normal fingering because you have that rest to switch. That brings us to the after 35, that's super easy, right? After your 4 measures of rest, where it says delicately, you have quarter notes and then the triplet again. In the next measure, make sure you make a clear distinction between the triplets and eighths. So I'm starting after the 4 measures rest. And it is B natural. Okay, then you have the same problem. Anytime you're going from the, oh, it's actually not in that one, so never mind, I was going to say something wrong. Let's skip ahead toward measure 50. So before the key change, I want to make sure that you make a clear distinction rhythmically between the triplet and then the eighth notes after it. So triplet 2 and 3, 4, triplet 2 and 3, 4 is how you'd count that. Or hamburger 2 and 3, 4, right? Okay, pretty clear there. And then you said you were doing the 97 section pretty great. That's a fun section. It's really great. And it's all eighth notes and it's all tongued and it's a little bit slower. So that is helpful. I'm sure you're doing a great job with that. I don't see anything weird after that. So hopefully this helps a little bit. I wish I could just sit and play with you. That would be super fun. So if you have other questions after you've watched this, go ahead and message me again. I'll try again if I wasn't very clear or if something else is a little confusing. Hope you're doing really great, and I'm so proud of you for taking on this challenge. Can't wait to hear the whole thing, can't you? See you soon.